my reaction to what you guys were doing was not an equal and appropriate reaction. And I'm sorry for that. And that's what I feel like all I can do in that scenario,
Yeah.
and all we can do as moms, make sure that we are controlling our feelings and controlling what we can as much as possible. But when we get out of control, is apologize and treat our kids like they are humans.
You're hitting on the most important thing that I think, which is modeling.
Want to do this?
Let's do it.
All right.
Cheers.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Moms Off Script. I'm Meg.
And I'm Mere.
And we are so excited that you are here with us today.
Yeah.
Mere, how are you?
I'm good. What do I have going on? Nothing. Life is good. The weather's warmer. We're outside. I actually texted one of our neighbor friends, Chelsea, friend of the pod, who has our community water slide stored at her house, and said, do you think we should get the water slide out today? And she said, no, not yet. And I was like, all right, yeah, that's fair. It's a little bit early. But
it is a wee bit early.
Yeah, she was right. But I think we should pull out the community water slide before the girls' birthday weekend this year and enjoy it all summer. Memorial Day weekend, we've gotten into the habit of grilling for the neighbors. And I think we'll do that again this year. And if it's nice, we'll whip it out for that. What's new with you, though?
I have been feeling for the past, 6-7 months, I'm in some sort of perimenopause, post-babies, I don't even know. My body is just not mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been struggling with that for the last couple months. I've tried a couple different things, whether it's fitness routines or changing my vitamins, changing my medications up, and just kind of trying to see what it is. Not a whole lot of success in the trial and error process.
Yeah.
I finally pulled the plug and I went to my OB and I was just like, listen, my body is off. I have some irregular bleeding. My ovulation week is hell.
Oh, God.
This is just where I need to start. I don't know if it has anything to do with my reproductive system, but it's an easy place to start.
Okay.
She sent me for an ultrasound. My first ultrasound for all of my symptoms was taken right after I ovulated. So the cyst that the egg kind of hangs out in before ovulating hadn't dissipated in my ovary. And I had a thick uterine wall.
Okay.
So there were no serious findings, but she used that as a baseline ultrasound. So then we waited 3 months and I went back.
Yeah.
And got a second ultrasound. At that ultrasound, she saw what she thought might be a polyp.
Okay.
Now, a polyp would line up with my symptoms as far as irregular bleeding or heavy menstrual cycles. So with that, we decided to move forward with a histosonogram. Histosonogram?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Histosonogram sounds more correct.
Yeah. Histosonogram.
What is it?
It was an ultrasound where they injected dye into my uterus.
Okay.
So it was a vaginal ultrasound, but doctor did it and, put a catheter through my cervix, injected dye, and then the ultrasound tech went in and did a vaginal ultrasound.
Okay. Was it uncomfortable?
I don't think a man could have handled what I went through with no pain meds.
A man could never.
It was no more uncomfortable than a pap smear.
Okay.
In my scenario, she said I handled it very, very well, which leads me to believe that there are other women who, when they get catheters, I'm sure it is extremely painful.
Yeah.
There was pinching, there was bleeding afterwards. So it
wasn't a walk in a park.
No, it was not a walk in a park. I'm not somebody who finds discomfort in that because I don't know. I just whatever.
You're sucking it up.
Do whatever you need. I am probably just sucking it up.
Yes.
This is wild. So they do the histosonogram, find nothing.
Okay.
And then the ultrasound tech, God bless her soul, and I love my OB, by the way, love my OB, but the ultrasound tech says to the OB, she's like, before you take the catheter out or before you do the biopsy, because they also did a biopsy of my uterine lining, before you do the biopsy, can you just put a little bit more dye? In the bottom, a little lower. The uterine wall is really thick. I just want to make sure that we're seeing everything.
Okay.
And so she squirts a little more dye in, and there it was. There was a polyp. It requires surgery, but it is more of a quality of life fix rather than a health concern.
Okay.
There's really no health concerns with it other than my quality of life and my discomfort. So we haven't quite decided.
That's a health concern.
No, that is a health concern. 100% that's a health concern. But it's not a life or death health concern.
Okay, fair.
So we haven't figured out what we're going to do, but I'll keep you guys updated if
do keep us updated.
Go into any surgeries or anything like that. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I will say I did. So again, love my OB, and I, asked her all the questions of what if we want to have more kids? Will this affect that? My high level of physical activity? Will this get better if I have the surgery? All the questions that I had for her. Those are just a couple. And then she, gracefully, happily exited the room. And I looked at the ultrasound tech and I was like, thank you so much for advocating for my uterus. It was so funny because I was like, in that moment, I was so grateful for her for saying something, but I didn't feel like she was advocating for me. She was literally advocating for my uterus.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you. And she cracked up. And I was like, no, really though, like my uterus had something to show you and it wasn't working and you spoke up and I really appreciate you for that.
I love everything about this story, other than the obvious discomfort and like everything you're dealing with, but like the fact that you were like, something is wrong. I've been trying to deal with it with all the, the quote unquote easy fixes with my diet and my vitamins and my meds and my fitness, whatever. And nothing was working. Something is off. I went to my doctor. They believed me. We did something about it. The tech like pushed for what she thought that you needed. And now you have something that you can do something.
Right.
So like, obviously it's not a good scenario because of the obvious reasons, but I'm really impressed by the way that you approached it in a really logical way and like dealt with it as opposed to just being like, oh, guess that's just being a woman, like.
Yeah. And I will say I did have some of that. And I think that's just, again, part of our gender or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I felt like at that point in my life, I was like, I'm not young anymore. I can't just pretend like this stuff is going to go away. And if there's something really wrong, like I need to figure that out sooner rather than later.
And you don't have to suffer.
Enough about me. Let's jump into the topic.
There's never enough of you, but yeah, sure.
Let's jump into the episode. Mere, just tell me how funny your kids are right now.
Oh my God.
This is such a fun age and they're hilarious.
1,000%. They're so fun right now. And honestly, the stuff that really gets me going is when the two of them get each other going.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Oh my God. The other day, they're taking a bath. First of all, they're taking a bath together, thank God, which almost never happens. Half the time I've got to get them in separately and it's a whole ordeal. But for whatever reason, they were in the bath together. It was filled with bubbles. I like loaded up with bubble bath. And I was kind of coming in and out of the bathroom. I was like folding laundry, whatever, but like within hearing distance at all times. And I could hear them cracking up in the bathtub. I like poked my head. I didn't want to disturb them. I'm like poke my head around and I'm watching. And what they're doing is they each have a scoop that I use to wash their hair. And they're scooping up soapy water, sipping it, and then like spit taking on each other.
Oh my gosh,
and
I love it.
Peeing their pants, laughing, cracking up, laughing every time.
The belly laugh.
Yes,
going.
Especially my 2-year-old. Her belly laugh is so funny.
Oh, yeah.
And like she thinks Teddy is so funny, and Teddy is just like he's loving the attention that she's giving him. They were just cracking each other up in the tub, and I was like biting my tongue, trying not to interrupt it because I wanted to just watch them interacting with each other. Oh my God, it was so funny.
That's hilarious.
I could go on and on. I love
my
stuff
kids
like that.
do that at the kitchen table all the time.
Just get each other going.
Well, especially during breakfast because we don't sit with them during breakfast,
right?
And they sit across from each other.
Yes,
and they just like get going. But they will do it at dinner and they'll to see if they can like push our buttons and then they'll like start laughing at each other after they've tried to push our buttons.
I thought you were saying that they like do the spit take at each other. I was like, at the table?
God. No.
So they just make each other laugh.
They make each other laugh. I mean, they make each other laugh. They're not spit taking. They would get in trouble if that was the case.
What else are they doing that's cracking you up?
Mostly they're dancing, I would say. Like they are so funny. They're really into K-pop Demon Hunters right now.
Oh, as one
they
is.
Like get in their feels. Like they have dance moves and they're like moving and grooving. And then they've started, so they got a microphone, or my daughter got a microphone for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll sing karaoke on the microphone. And the lyrics that they come up with are so funny. Like they think they're singing the song.
Oh my God.
And they just are saying the most bizarre, gibberish words. And it's so funny. And they've now gotten to a point where like they'll put on shows for us. So one will have the microphone and one will be dancing. And then they'll switch. But now, not only is there a singer and a dancer, sometimes the singer will like hold the microphone over to the dancer so the dancer can like say their line.
Okay,
And
so
then
like
brings it
backup
back.
singing.
Yes. It's
Oh my
so
God.
hilarious. And they like put on little shows for us.
I'm obsessed with that.
They're so funny.
I have one more for you.
Okay.
So for Easter, Teddy got a bunch of Kit Kats in his Easter eggs.
Oh, he told me about this.
Okay.
Mint ones.
Yes, very obsessed with Kit Kats. And the other day we were in the car and he was telling me about how he had a Kit Kat. And I was like, do you know there's a song about Kit Kats? And he was like, wait for it. You'll know it.
Oh.
And he's like, there is? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, can you sing it for me? I'm like, yeah. So I go, give me a break, break me up a piece of that Kit Kat bar. And he like cracks up. He thought that was so funny.
Oh, yeah.
And then later that night, I hear him upstairs with Joey and I'm downstairs and he goes, Daddy, did you know Mommy taught me a song about Kit Kats? And Joey goes, really? What is it? And he goes, I can't even sing it. He goes, I got it again. He goes, Kit Kat, break me, Kit Kat bar. I almost fell over.
So
it was
good.
so funny. And he's singing so confidently. Like,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, these are the words.
That's how they are.
Oh my God.
It's so funny.
Oh God.
And the confidence is what is
So funny.
Makes it even more hilarious.
And Joey cracks up because he knows what it actually was.
Yeah.
Like he like put it together. He's like, oh, Meredith definitely sang him that song. It's so funny. I need to pull myself together. Oh man.
Okay. So when they're not being absolutely hilarious, they're probably being calm. But the flip side is
The other extreme.
The other extreme. Oh, the other extreme is toddlers. They're terrors sometimes.
Holy moly.
Would you consider yours and Joey's parenting style like gentle parenting?
I like the term respectful parenting,
Okay.
but it falls in the same bucket. The things that have resonated with me is when someone says, if you were in the middle of something and someone said, go put your shoes on, we have to go right now. You'd be like, well, wait, I'm in the middle of this. Like, you would be frustrated. So why do we expect our kids to be like, drop what they're doing and go put their shoes on?
100%.
Right? Or if you went into a party where you didn't know anyone and you were nervous and you wanted to stay with your parent, like, you would be nervous. And it wouldn't be helpful to hear, it's fine, you're fine, go. Like, how would that make you feel?
Yeah.
So I very much put myself in their shoes and try to imagine, like, how are they feeling in this moment? And how would I feel in this moment? And what would I need? Because even though the things that they're upset about or having big feelings about seem ridiculous to us, for them, it's really important.
Yeah.
So that's how I try and think about it, is from a respectful parenting perspective in terms of respecting their feelings and that they have feelings and that those feelings are valid, even if they seem insane to me.
Right.
What about you though?
So I don't know if I would say that we've taken like a gentle parenting approach.
Mm-hmm.
We've definitely taken like a respectful parenting. I will say we are parenting like millennials for sure.
Oh, so true.
We are millennial parents through and through. I never did a ton of like reading or research on gentle parenting, so I didn't go into it.
I feel like I got it through social media.
Yeah,
like, you know,
and I feel like it's the way our culture is parenting, which is really important, and I think it's great. For me, the big thing is respecting them,
right,
and meeting them where they're at. I will say, like, the coach in me, and I think the mom in me wants to push my kids to their potential.
Yeah.
And so there are moments where I kind of have to check myself. The whole thing is respecting, right? But is this the right place to push, or is this the right place to respect?
Yes.
And even though a push is respectful, what they feel might not feel that way.
Yes.
So it's like that balance.
Yeah. It's like when your kid is at the pool and you know they'll have fun if they just jump in, but they're scared. And it's like, how do you help them do it? And there's I'm going to push them in.
Right. Like, I'm just going to hip check them. I'm going to walk by and hip check.
Right. Or there's, okay, well, you don't have to get in, and they spend the whole summer by the side of the pool. Right. Like there's a happy medium in there. And what is it?
Right. And what is it? And figuring that out. And it's also interesting as a parent of two, and I'm sure parents of more kids and like more multiples, it's tricky because each kid is different.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about what regulation looks like at your house.
For me or for them?
Exactly. No, that's a great question. I guess for them, I mean, are they good at it now?
They are both getting much better at it.
Yeah.
Teddy is really good at it. AJ is getting a lot better.
Okay. And that's, I mean, they're 22 months apart. So that's not a big age gap, but they're big enough. I feel
it's a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're at a noticeable learning difference.
1,000%. I have different standards for them because Teddy is almost 5 and AJ is only 2.5. And that is a big difference.
Their developmental stages are different.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Mine are both pretty good at regulating now. I think because of their age gap, she feeds off of him and like recognizes. I would argue in some scenarios that she is better at regulating than he is. So he's very empathetic. And so I think for him, the reason it takes him so long to like regulate is that he actually is trying to figure out and like work through a true big feeling, not just like a big physical temper tantrum that a toddler might have.
Right, right.
But he has gotten better at it, I will say. We have, actually, this is a funny story.
Okay.
So at school, they have the cozy corner. So they don't do timeout.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
guys do timeout?
No.
Okay. We don't do timeout either. But there's the comfy cozy corner? The cozy corner.
The comfy, cozy, snuggly corner.
Yeah, the corner. No. So they have cozy corner. And so at school, the rule is, and this is like from age 1 on.
Okay.
So they have cozy corner if you are acting up or if you're dysregulated or, you know, big emotions.
You need a break.
You go to the cozy.
Mm-hmm.
So go sit in cozy corner. So my thought process was like, okay, this is what they're doing every day. So I'm going to bring it home.
Okay.
Because I didn't hate it and it made sense to me. So I started putting my son in cozy corner.
Where's your cozy corner in your house?
I was using the edge of the couch or the chair in my daughter's room. But at that point, my daughter was very young. So her room was very much like not a playroom space at that point. So it's the corner of the couch. So I start putting my son in cozy corner regularly when he is dysregulated. Now he's 3 at this point.
Okay.
I know what cozy corner means. My son knows what cozy corner means as far as like he needs time to chill. Not time out.
Yeah.
Chill.
Mm-hmm.
But my husband, I didn't click to me that like he wouldn't know that that's
there was not a conversation there.
So I come home one day.
Oh God.
And put him in cozy corner and like bundled him up in blankets and told him he was in the cozy corner.
Just cause?
Fun.
Like it was a treat.
Oh no. I was like, oh no, that's my fault. I never communicated that. We worked through that. So we did a cozy corner at home.
Okay.
Because it's what they did at school. And then we kind of transitioned to needing to talk. And that's kind of the trigger with them right now is like, the consequence to the action is if you don't listen or if you're going to not do these things, like we have to go talk about it.
Oh, okay.
You can choose to not listen. You can choose to do what you're doing. And that's opposite of what the family is doing. But then we have to have a conversation about it.
Okay.
Because you have to understand why what you're doing is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And or I have to understand why you're choosing not to do it.
Mm.
And so we make it a conversation. It's not like I have to tell you something or I have to teach you something.
Yeah.
It is very much the opportunity for it to be a back and forth.
Yeah.
It doesn't always end up that way because they actually are quote unquote misbehaving or don't know what they're doing wrong. So they don't know how to articulate it. But we feel like if we can articulate it to them, they will learn the skills to articulate it back to us.
Mm.
And it's worked. They can articulate things to us, which has been really rewarding to see when we do then have those talks. Do you guys do anything like cozy corner or like anything like that in your house when kids are getting like a little wound up?
We don't have anything like that. They had a cozy at school for both of them when they went to daycare, but the cozy was like truly, I don't think it was used for that purpose. It was like, oh, if you want to read, if you want to snuggle, if you want to lay down, like, and if you're tired, like that kind of thing. So there wasn't something at school that we felt like we had to emulate. I also think both of mine have such different manifestations of their big feelings.
Yeah.
Like when Teddy has big feelings, he was never a big tantrum kid. Don't get me wrong. He had tantrums, but that wasn't how they manifested for him. He would just get really sad and he would cry and he would want comfort. And there was no kind of talking him out of it or like, okay, it's been 20 minutes, let's move on. He just needed to be sad until he was done being sad.
Yes.
And whether that was with me or on his own, he just needed to kind of work through the feeling. And there was not like, let's draw our feelings. Why don't we punch a pillow? Let's go outside. Like all those things I talk about. Yeah. He doesn't need any of that. He just wants to sit and be sad until he's done being sad. AJ has been much more challenging for me personally because her feelings are explosive, right?
Yes.
When she has a big tantrum, she will throw herself on the floor. She like, and I will be worried about like, I have to like catch her so she doesn't hit her head.
Yeah.
Right. throw herself on the floor, kicking, screaming, very dysregulated. And in many cases, she does not want physical comfort at all. And that was really difficult for me at first, where I was like so used to Teddy, who wanted to just kind of sit and snuggle with me and just process.
Yep.
She was like, I need space, like kicking and screaming, did not want me near her. And I felt like a horrible mother being like, okay, let me walk away. And I would never like leave her. I'd be like sitting a few feet away or sitting in the hall while she was in her room, kicking and screaming on the floor. And I was like, I feel like I should be giving her comfort, but that's not what she needed. And if I ever tried to hold her, it would make it 10 times worse. Like she would freak out even more, like she was being constrained and freaked out.
Yeah.
So it was a learning process for me with her to understand what worked for her because it was so different from Teddy. And she's also not at the phase yet where she can do kind of a talk it out thing.
Okay.
She just, her feelings hit her all at once. They become explosive. I will sit with her and be like, do you need me right now? Or do you need space? And that's kind of all we can articulate is I need you, or she'll climb in my lap, or she'll say, I need space. And she needs to just work through that. When she gets to the point where I can be in her space and she'll come and sit with me and we can like breathe together and come out of the big feeling and bring ourselves back down, then we can maybe have a conversation about, okay, you were upset because you wanted to wear your pink dress and it's in the wash, or like whatever it was. But in the moment, she still has that explosive thing that she needs to work through.
My daughter has had a lot more physical reaction to big feelings than my son ever did. So I can empathize a little bit with that. I think the other piece you talked a lot about is like breathing. And that was a skill that we worked on with our kids from day one.
Yeah.
From the moment they started having tantrums, it was take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And now that backfired for a little while because they would hear take a deep breath. And I think it trigger them
like, more.
I'm
no, I'm not
dysregulated. I don't want to. They've said I don't want to.
Well, and I think go back to respectful parenting. Like if I'm pissed, if someone says to me, take a deep breath, I'd be like, you go fuck yourself.
Right. 100%. And like that's part of all of this too, is we as adults don't know how to regulate half the time. I came back to like, what are things that help me regulate? And breathing is one of them. And if I can teach my kids to breathe, maybe that is a strategy that they can use when they're trying to regulate. Now, a new one that I've kind of moved towards as they've gotten a little bit older is squeezing.
Oh, yeah.
So I will give them a finger. And this is big feelings. They're having some sort of a tantrum for whatever reason, even if they're frustrated with me. I love how you talked about you're going to comfort them or you're going to give them the space. You're going to give them what they need. But then we ultimately have to come back to the conversation. Yeah. And so I found a lot of times, like, even if they're like pissed at me or like I'm the cause of their stress, they still want me or they still need my presence. And I'll honor that. Like I'll recognize that. But I'll kind of like, I'll give them my thumbs or I'll give them my pinkies and I breathe with them. I'll be like, okay, inhale, squeeze and breathe out. Inhale, squeeze and breathe out.
Oh, I like that.
And they do it. And then you start to see like they pull their sleeves up and they start to wipe their face. Yeah. And they recognize like, okay, I'm okay. Like I'm in a place where I'm safe. Let's have this conversation. And they're able to have the conversation and move on. Now, it's not always easy. It's not always fun. To that point, I have to regulate.
Yes.
In order to be able to regulate them.
Yes.
And that is so incredibly challenging.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when they're little.
Yes.
I just so vividly remember this morning where I couldn't get them both buckled and they're like screaming and and they're both going crazy. And I just like fucking lit them up. I screamed so loud. I was so angry. I was like, couldn't handle my own emotions and like just went and sat on my front porch and cried. And then I remember texting you guys being like,
I remember this.
I just did this thing. It's awful. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to apologize to them. It's not okay. I don't know what to do. And I do. I mean, and then I did get in the car and I was like, guys, I'm sorry. Like mommy got upset and I need to work on that. I need you guys to work on getting buckled or doing listening. But I recognize that my reaction to what you guys were doing was not an equal and appropriate reaction. And I'm sorry for that. And that's what I feel like all I can do in that scenario and all we can do as moms is make sure that we are controlling our feelings and controlling what we can as much as possible. But when we get out of control is apologize and treat our kids like they are humans.
You're hitting on the most important thing that I think, which is modeling in two ways. One is modeling regulation when they're dysregulated, like letting them borrow your calm, right? So when my 2-year-old is spinning out, I can just sit next to her and I won't say to her, breathe, but I will sit there with my hand on my chest to go, and it's nice for me, but it's also modeling to her, when you're ready to join me, come sit with me and we'll do this, right? And sometimes we lose it, right? Like we don't always sit there calmly breathing, right? Sometimes we lose our minds. I remember when it happened to me, I was trying to get Teddy down for a nap. He was probably 2.5, not quite because AJ wasn't born. And he just kept getting out of his bed and getting out of his bed and getting out of his bed. And he never did that. I was losing it. And I think I had something to go do. I was just like, please just stay in your bed. And like the 5th time he got up and opened his door, I yelled like his whole name, Theodore, you get back in your bed, and like yelled at him. Yeah. And then like he like looked at me with wide eyes and went and laid in his bed. And then I cried. Yeah. And then I texted my mom and I was like, I just called him by his whole name and screamed at him.
Like you're officially a mom.
I was like, oh my God. And then I went into his room because he hadn't fallen asleep and just like rubbed his back. And I was like, I'm sorry, same thing. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I was upset. I was frustrated, but I'm okay now. It's not your fault. I love you. And like rubbed his back until he fell asleep. So it's modeling calmness when you can. And when you inevitably make a mistake, it's modeling how to repair and move past that, because they're going to make mistakes too. So if all you ever model is perfection and regulation, they're not going to learn. So they need to see you do it both ways. I also go out of my way when I'm frustrated with something, like even something dumb. If I'm working or I'm trying to put something together or I'm cooking and something burns, I will say, oh, I'm so frustrated. This just happened. Let me start again. Let me take a breath and like narrate out loud
100%.
to like tell them that like I feel this way too. I don't just sit here in an oasis of calm. Like I feel these feelings too, and this is how I deal with them.
That's a big one too. I think naming feelings is huge.
Yes.
I think part of their dysregulation, and I touched on this earlier, is like they just don't know how to work through what they're feeling because they don't actually understand it.
Yes.
And that's the same with us. Like we don't understand it. So it's helpful for us to name our feelings, let alone like model that. Like what feelings can I be feeling right now? Another piece that we try to do when we're having these types of conversations is it's okay to have multiple emotions.
Yeah, true.
And it started when they were younger and their emotions were physical. So they would come out in thrashing or kicking or hitting or whatever. That happens when they're little, you know, in that 1 to 3 age. And we would often say to our son, and this transferred to our daughters, like, you can be mad right now, but you're not allowed to hit me.
Right.
Or you can be mad right now, but you're not allowed to kick your toys.
Yes.
And that was kind of where this idea started from. But then as they got older and started to really feel their feelings rather like emotionally rather than just physically, it became this, I recognize that you're sad, or I recognize that you're happy, but you can also be sad. Or like I would cry about something. I'd be like, Mommy, are you sad? Like, yeah, I am sad, but I'm also okay. Like I'm happy. And you can feel both things. It's okay to have one feeling and an action that matches and doesn't match, but you need to be regulated in it.
Do you guys have the book, The Crayon's Book of Feelings?
We don't. And I've heard you talk about this. Tell our listeners about
this. This is a great book for exactly what you're talking about, because it's The Crayon's Book of Feelings, and it will
like
have
Crayola?
No, just like, you know, like the Crayons on Strike, it's like a series of these crayon books.
Oh, is it like Schoolhouse Rock? Like there's a bunch of like
No.
But it's crayons?
No. It's like it's just a book series. Like these recurring characters are these crayons, and they just are in different talking about different things, whatever. Like we have one that's the day the rainbows were gone or something, and the sun and the clouds are fighting.
Draw the rainbow?
Yeah, the crayons bring the rainbows back. It's cute. Okay. But the one we started with was The Crayon's Book of Feelings, and on each page it's a crayon and it's emotion. So like at first it just says like happy, and the crayon's like smiling, and then it says sad, and the crayon's sad face. But then it will say grumpy and a little bit tired, or curious but a little bit shy, and brave but scared. And the last page says, it's like a crayon with all these colors, and it says it's okay to feel lots of feelings all at once. So we talk about that a lot. And when we read that book, I'll say, have you ever felt brave? Did you feel happy today? Did you feel scared today, or whatever it was? And we talk about having multiple feelings, and same thing when they're through a meltdown, not like during a meltdown, but after, let's say you were feeling really frustrated, you were sad because of this. Yes. Okay. And naming those feelings. But if your kid's like a book responder and like learns well from books, The Crayon's Book of Feelings is a really good one for this.
That's amazing.
You don't have the Cran's Book of Feelings, but what do you do? Don't you guys do like affirmations or something?
We do. Yes.
Tell me about that.
So we have a list of affirmations that we recite every night. My son now has it like printed and he'll like read it.
Yeah.
And it's, I am beautiful. I am strong. I am brave. I am kind. I am loved. And I am grateful.
Oh.
And so they say those things every night before they go to bed. My son also had a preschool teacher last year who did daily affirmations, and there were a couple different ones in there. So he would come home and he would say like, I am confident, or I am like, and have a couple other, I forget what they were, but he would mix them in with his daily affirmations in the evening. But they both say them before bedtime. They both recite them. Sometimes they want me to do it with them. Sometimes they want to do it by themselves. Sometimes they just want me to do it. I think that for us has been really helpful because it's a calming, it's a ritual, but it's also instilling this idea of their beauty and their intelligence and their bravery and their strength. And I am smart is not on there because that's, at least when our kids were little, that's not something you're supposed to say to them. I don't know. Yeah, you're not supposed to tell them they're smart anymore.
What?
I don't know.
I say that all the time.
I know. I tell my kid he's smart. My kid is smart. But,
speaking of affirmations, have you heard the Snoop Dogg affirmation song?
Oh my gosh. You guys loved that song.
Affirmations are positive statements. Yeah, I could sing that
like,
whole thing.
Didn't your son like put that
He went through a really big Snoop Dogg phase.
Yeah, we didn't. We did not do that in our house. But because we were going through a Taylor Swift phase. I mean, I'm in a Taylor Swift life. I'm just living.
Yes, yeah, that's not a phase.
But my daughter went through a big Taylor Swift phase. But anyway, we did not do the Snoop Dogg thing, but I've heard it.
If you're looking for some affirmations, Snoop Dogg
is where it's at.
It's where it's at. It's
Spotify, Apple Music,
wherever you listen to music. It's so great.
How about you go on Spotify, listen to Mom's Off Script, and then jump over to Snoop Dogg, and then you can do that on Apple Music. You can do that on YouTube, wherever you're watching Mom's Off Script. Go check out Snoop Dogg. All right. So boundaries with these little temper tantrum toddlers.
Oh, they're so fun.
They are fun. Talk to me about the no word.
The no word.
Is that a word you guys use in your house?
Yeah, we say no, right? We're not a household that completely avoids it, but I am intentional around trying to make the no's matter and pick my battles.
Okay.
I don't want to say no 100 million times a day. They don't want to hear no 100 million times a day.
Yep.
So if there's something I can say yes to because it doesn't actually matter, like my daughter will be like, I want to wear my rain boots to school. You know what? Go for it, girl.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to say no to that. That's fine. And unless there's some safety reason not to. So I try to pick my battles. But then also, if the answer is no, I will try to match it with a yes or a but blah, blah, blah. So let's say she wants to wear her rain boots to school, but I know they're going to be doing something outside that day that involves running.
Yeah.
I'll say, you know what? Rain boots aren't a good idea today, but what you should do is wear some sneakers so you can run in. Do you want pink or yellow? Right? And so it's not, no, you can't wear your rain boots. It's, that's not a great idea. Here's a different choice for you. Okay. That's a yes. So I'll try and frame it up in a way that makes more sense. I know some people can take this to like the extreme and really try and reframe everything. And instead of saying, no running, like stay right by mommy, or like, no, like say what you should do instead of what you shouldn't do. I can't quite take it to that extreme. I also think there is value in your kid hearing the word no and learning to respond to the word no. But I also think toddler brains are not really well wired for the negative. So to the extent when you're giving a direction, instead of saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, telling them the behavior that you do want to see, I've seen has been much more successful.
That's interesting. We've not really talked too much about using no or not using no. I know we have backed off of the word no, or like actively tried to use other strategies, but we haven't really necessarily put into place what those strategies are. One thing that I do know that we do is similar to your but. Instead of a hard no, it's a no with an explanation. I rarely say no, and it's just
because
the one thing that I will say no to and allow them to say no to is bodies and space.
Oh yes, 1,000%.
Because what I want to make sure that they do understand is that no is a complete sentence.
In addition to no being a complete sentence, it's also a powerful sentence. And I think that's why I want to use it sparingly.
Correct.
Because if they just hear me say no all day, it's going to just go right in one ear and out the other.
100%.
But now, because when I say no, I hold that boundary and I mean it. And it's not that often that I truly just say no.
Yeah.
They know when I say it, I mean it.
Right.
You know?
Now, you talked a little bit about setting boundaries and picking and choosing your battles. Yeah. How do you go about that?
it's a day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
But my husband and I talk about this a lot, where we agreed very early on that we are united front and your word is gold, right? There are so many times I've heard my husband set a boundary on something like, no, you cannot eat that lollipop right now. And he's set the boundary and now he's committed and I'm committed. So if I come into the room and Teddy says to me, oh, I want that lollipop, the line has already been drawn and we are united front and we are holding that boundary. And there's so many times we debrief after bedtime and he'll be like, oh man, I can't believe I drew that boundary. I'm like, yeah, why did you draw that boundary? Like then we had to hold it. And he's like, I know. So we're really careful about when we draw a hard line because we know when the line is drawn and the answer is no or yes, whatever it is, your word is gold and we don't walk it back. Even if 5 minutes into the argument, you're like, man, I really wish I had just said yes. Too late. You've already committed. You've said no, and now it's a thing.
It is challenging. I think that we'll find ourselves setting a boundary. We won't walk it back, but if they start to calm down and regulate, we'll say, okay, you're calming down and you're figuring this out. Let's talk about it. If I think that I've set a ridiculous boundary, I will hold the boundary through the tantrum.
Yes.
And then allow them to kind of negotiate with me.
But importantly, you're not responding to the tantrum by going, okay, fine, right? Because then they're learning, oh, well, if I throw a hard enough tantrum, the answer will change. And here's the hardest thing about that is that is so hard to do when the tantrums are happening because it would be so easy to just go, fine, wear your rain boots and move on with the day, then deal with the 20-minute tantrum. But that is one of those things that I feel like in my experience is worth it because it pays off down the road when your kids have now learned no means no or yes means yes. Whatever mom or dad says, they mean it. Yeah. And I'm not going to get my way by kicking and screaming. I can be mad. I can be upset. I can be frustrated about the decision that was made, but me screaming about it is not going to change it. So I can't even tell you. Here's a perfect example. The other day when we were out at a family thing, your family and my family were both there. And I told my daughter it was time to leave. She was so sad to leave your daughter.
Yes.
She was like, no, but she was doing it. She was putting on her shoes. She was getting her bag. But the whole time she was like, oh, I don't want to leave. She was so sad, but she was doing the things to leave.
Yes.
She let me pick her up and carry her out. She wasn't resisting. She was just being sad about the thing she didn't want to do while doing it.
And that goes back to naming feelings. Like you can have feelings. You can do these things. That doesn't change the outcome of what's about to happen.
Exactly.
So feel your feels. When did temper tantrum stop? Like
let 7, me know.
8, 9, 12, 28, 38. Like I think that is the hardest part though of all of this big feeling stuff is holding those boundaries. Because I can tell you right now, I do my best, but I am not perfect. I let those boundaries go every once in a while. I tend to be a yeller and I tend to not always have the right words. And my husband actually had to pull me aside maybe 2 or 3 months ago to be like, can you give them real consequences when you're explaining something to them rather than saying the consequence is mom's going to get upset? It was twofold for me because it was so disappointed in myself that I was like doing that. But it was so great for him to recognize it and like call me out on it and just be like, that they're not going to respond to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an appropriate or healthy response for anybody. It's not appropriate for you to get angry at them for being toddlers and doing what they're going to do and not listening to you. And it's not, it's instilling fear in them that you're going to like hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
There's no respect there. And I was like, you're right. Like you're 100% right. And I've had to check myself since then. I've felt those words coming out of my mouth and I've pulled them.
That's hard.
I have been very able to pull them back, but it was a realization moment for me where I was like, I'm in this so deep. The only thing I can say to my kids when they're screaming or when they're not listening is you're pissing me off essentially. Like that's not fair to anybody. And it was really, I was very grateful that he called me out on that because this part is challenging. And for it to have somebody in your corner who's willing to check you, who is checking you, like I felt like he was checking me because he wanted me to be a better parent, but he was also protecting his children. And so it was like, very much he was making the comment to better both parties and push everything forward. So I felt grateful for that. And I just like anybody listening that's like, how the hell are these women holding boundaries and doing all these like dealing with all these big feelings. We're not. Or at least I'm not.
Not perfectly.
I'm not handling it well. It's very, very challenging.
It's so hard.
These are the strategies that I'm putting into place and like working really hard to actively do. But let me tell you, I slip up.
Talk about feeling multiple feelings at once. Disappointed in yourself, grateful for your husband. I'm so impressed that you both have the relationship where he A, recognized something that he wanted to talk to you about, B, talked to you about it, C, you heard the feedback, didn't get defensive and like listened to it, and then D, applied it or are trying to apply it. Yes. Like all of that is impressive.
Yeah, we're
Good
all
job.
impressive in some form or another.
But it's impressive in its imperfection, right? You're not sitting here going, oh, we're amazing. We manage boundaries and feelings and we're always perfectly regulated. Like we're not.
Right.
But we're working on it and we're working on it in a way that's productive.
Yeah. I feel like we've said the word regulate so many times
It
in
now
this
sounds
episode. I feel like
weird.
we should do like a regulate
counter. 412.
The even funnier thing about that is I've started to use the word regulate to my son.
Yeah.
I literally said to him multiple times in the last week, you take a few minutes to regulate and let me know when you're okay. All right, Mere Mere.
Mere Mere.
Mere Bear.
Megg Beg.
Yeah, that. Megg Beg.
I don't know. You said Mere Bear, Megg Beg. I don't know.
Whatever. Meg Egg.
Megatron.
Yeah, there we go. That's me. Okay. Here we are. Your favorite part of the episode.
I'm ready. I'm sweating.
Are you sure? I mean, I'm sure you're sure.
I'm sure.
Are you sure you're ready?
No.
All right. Let's do it. Lightning round. Meredith. Your kids. Big feelings. Let's go.
I'm stressed.
What is the first thing you do once the kids are asleep after an evening of big feelings?
Wine.
Have you ever had food thrown at you during a temper tantrum?
No, I don't think so.
How many times have you cried at the end of the day because this shit is hard?
Uncountable.
What is the most unhinged thing you've ever said to one of your children during a temper tantrum?
I think they were freaking out in the car about something. They were like, I want it. No, I want it. And I said, if you don't sort it out, I will throw that out the window. Like we were driving, I was just going to check it. And they both stopped.
That's amazing.
Worked. Not a good idea. Don't advise, but it worked.
Do you feel supported by your community when it comes to your kids having big feelings in public spaces?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had someone look at me judgy. I think if anything, I've had moms be like, you got this, girl. It's okay.
Have you ever had to football carry one of your kids out of a store?
Yes.
Have you ever had to carry both of your kids at the same time, football carry out of a store?
No, not at the same time. It's only ever been one at a time. I think it's been AJ, and Teddy will like recognize when it's a bad moment and he will be on his best behavior like an angel.
Mine do the same thing, but it's like one or the other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's it. That's all I got for you. You did it.
Football carrying your kid out of somewhere, like there's almost nothing worse than like just be like bail and scoop them like, and just get out.
But I am willing to bet every mom listening to this podcast
has done it.
Football carried their kid out of a restaurant or somewhere, and if they haven't, they sure as shit has thought about it.
For sure.
100%.
When you've tried everything else, okay, we're leaving in 5 minutes. Okay, it's time to go. Say bye to your friends. One last thing. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. We're leaving right now. Okay, I'm picking you up because you're not listening. And I'm going to help you listen by leaving with you under my arm.
Oh my gosh, it's wild. Or just they just won't stop having a temper tantrum in a public space.
You're like,
okay,
evacuate.
Well, let's go. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Moms Off Script.
This is a good one.
This was funny.
Please tell us we're not alone. Please reach out to us on social media and be like, yeah, girl.
Check out our socials. You can see some funny behind-the-scenes clips. You can see some fun trends and clips from this episode on TikTok and Instagram. We are Moms Off Script. Check out our YouTube shorts and watch this episode on YouTube. Yeah. Leave us some comments there. Send us a text in the show notes. There's so many ways that you can reach us, as well as an email.
You can email us at momsoffscript@gmail.com if you have more to say and you want to express yourself via email. We love to hear our fan mail and reach out to you guys.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next Thursday. Bye. Moms Off Script is created and developed by Megg Abelein and Meredith Finch. Set design and videography, Megg Abelein and Meredith Finch. Music, Matt Beatty. Photography, Michelle Montinieri. Graphic design, Alexia Dulieu. This episode is edited and produced by Megg Abelein.